Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live. Liverpool are still top of the league. It's burning me inside and out. It's starting to become a problem. Like week after week after week, they're getting better. They're fluid. It's actually sickening. It's actually sickening. For me, they were better off under Klopp. Do you know what I mean? Klopp was trying to take around the wrong path. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool fans kept quiet. Arsenal were happy around the top, but no. The season that Manchester City decide to drop off, Liverpool pop up their heads. Liverpool are like, "Hey, I'm here, lad," and they are not giving up. They are not giving up. I'm joined by a Man United fan who's here with me to hate on Liverpool a little bit more.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Feeds my soul. Never a chore digging out Liverpool, mate. Never a chore.
And we've got a neutral here. He's an Arsenal fan, but I would say he's the most neutral of the two. He's not as pressed as I am about Liverpool doing well right now. It's Steve. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing, mate? I don't know, like neutral, just probably not as worried about them as what some are. But yeah,
we will discuss. We'll discuss.
We'll discuss.
Man United got a big win this weekend. A big win against Everton. A resilient Everton. Remember, last two games they've not conceded. They've got 0-0 draws, and Man United were there to shut that one down. Ruben Amorim's looking good. 2 wins and a draw so far under his reign. And Arsenal hammering the Hammers 5-2. One refereeing decision in there, which I called out because people will say that when you win, you don't call these things out. Well, I called it out. It was a terrible decision from the ref. I don't know what he was thinking. It was a good challenge. Gave away the free kick, conceded the goal. Could have been worse. Could have led to a comeback, but it didn't. So I'll let it lie. But still, you've been called out. First and foremost, we have to talk about one of the biggest games of the weekend. The game that many rival fans that were hoping their team would be in this Premier League title race would smash it wide open. And it did completely opposite. It carried on playing into Liverpool's hands completely and showed us a weaker side of Manchester City that we never thought we'd see under Pep Guardiola. First and foremost, Scarf, 2-0 victory for Liverpool. It's a good result for Liverpool. Didn't quite tell the story that it actually was, though. Should Man City fans be worried, or do you think this is going to give Pep Guardiola something to fight for?
Worried a little bit because it's football. You don't know what's coming, obviously. What are they now? 5 points off top, are they? No. How many points off top are they now? Because they're 7 points off top, ain't they? 7 points off top now. It's a big gap. I think it's a big gap for you boys as well, like with the way Liverpool play. So yeah, a little bit worried, but I'd be more worried. Like I'm more worried as a rival fan because like I said to you before we come on live, if Pep Guardiola is the manager that I think he is, which is second, possibly greatest Premier League manager of all time, like I've put him up there as number 1 in my opinion. If he is the manager I think he is, he is not going to let this rest. He's going to be working morning, noon, and night to address the errors. And yeah, he's already signed a new contract, which means he's definitely been guaranteed some money in January. I know they're in a bit of a pickle, but he's definitely going to get some money. And we'll just see who goes and buys. So yeah, worried on both sets. I'll be a little bit worried with the performance. I didn't see the full match, as I said, I saw the extended highlights. It didn't portray how bad City actually were. You two can go into that. They didn't look good. They looked weak, as you said. They looked toothless. They didn't look like the Man City that we know. But yeah, I'm worried both ways. It's either going to be a real bad time. Well, I'm not worried about Man City. I'm worried for Man City fans. It's going to be a bad time for them. And he's going to end up with not being able to buy anyone, the team in a juxtaposition. Or, yeah, which is more what I think we'll see in January, where everything lays and exactly what the situation is. If Man City are more than 5 points off the top by January, then yeah, I don't think they've got it in them. So I don't think
they're 11 now, haven't they? 11 points off Liverpool.
It's 11 points, is it?
Yes, there are 11 points. They're on 23 points. Liverpool are on 34 points.
And what's it's you and who else above them? Chelsea now, is it?
Chelsea, Brighton, and Arsenal are above them.
No disrespect to Brighton, but you know they'll fall off by the end of the season. So yeah, I mean, Chelsea, yeah, and they need to sort it out quick because otherwise they're struggling. They are, because you boys are playing well. Chelsea are playing well. Liverpool are playing well. They may have to be looking at fourth place if they don't turn around. But as I said, if he's the manager I think he is, we'll soon see this be rectified.
Right. Steve, we saw Liverpool absolutely tear Man City apart early doors, and then kind of let off in the second half a bit more, and it maybe looked a little bit more flattering for Manchester City. But if Liverpool really wanted to step it up, I think they could have done. They had more in the tank. Is this a worry for Manchester City fans?
Yeah, I think it's a big worry. I mean, before the game, what I thought would happen happened, and I was there's always this little bit of inside me that was hoping that Man City were going to, weirdly enough, considering that we've been their rivals for the last 2 years, wanting them to go and beat Liverpool, which is I've never been in that situation for a long while, but at the same time, never thinking they had a chance. I was trying to look at little caveats during the game and before the game on how they could beat Liverpool, but I just couldn't see any way with the team that they put out how they could, and it turned out that way, mate. And look, it was 2-0, but they literally, if you can get a 2-0 battering, that's what it was. It was like a 2-0 battering. It was. I mean, it was a statement said during the game what someone said, and it was true. I mean, it was men against boys. And to actually say that about a Man City team, men against boys, and look, I'm always first to get on Carragher and Neville's back when they come out with a stupid comment, but I had to sort of nod and think it's exactly what it looked like. And 11 points off. They've got a massive, massive job to do. I agree with Garth about how Pep's the greatest, manager probably, or coach, that has been in the Premier League. But for me, there's a lot more wrong with this team than just what he can do and money. I just think there's a lot more to do, and I don't think there's any way that he can turn this round the way we're looking at it at the moment. Just due to looking at the team, the midfield they put out. I was talking to a Man City fan before the game.
What was that? What was that about? Because they had Nunes on the left.
No idea.
They had Bernardo Silva on the right. They had Rico Lewis. I like Rico Lewis. I think he's a good player. Good player, but he's a defender.
Well, he is. He can play centre. He can play. But this is what I'm talking to you about. I'm talking City like pick it. I was listening to a little pod before the show, started before the game, and they was talking about how this was their best midfield they could put out. People saying, well, where's De Bruyne? Why can't you put De Bruyne in there? Why can't you play, so-and-so in there? You can't put De Bruyne in there because that would make the legs in the middle of the park even worse. If you've got Gundogan, De Bruyne in the midfield with I forget who else, with Bernardo Silva, the legs, there's nothing there. That is a poor midfield. Okay, but, De Bruyne's got the silky skills, but if you're talking about like a battle in the midfield between Man City, it was like average, middle of the road, Premier League side midfield, where we're looking at these days, and there wasn't a Man City fan who thought they could win the game, and it was just everybody was saying 3-1, we're going to lose, that City was going to lose, and it was just poor, mate. They've just the players are not, the players. Look, all it is. Look, the players that have been good for them for so long are on their way out. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And the players that they've brought in are just not good enough. Rico Lewis may be good in 3-4 years' time. Savio may be turning into a good player in a few years, but they're nowhere near, maybe not even Champions League team material at this moment in my mind.
Yeah.
So it's they've got a lot of problems, and I don't think it's something that's going to be sort of worked out this season. I think it's going to this could be the turn of them going down. And then if any season that I probably could say that I really don't want them to do now, I really want them to pick it up and go again, because we need as many teams challenging Liverpool as possible. But I just don't see them doing it at this stage. I don't see anywhere on the pitch. They can't score goals. They can't defend. They can't do nothing. They can't do it. They've got one of the awful goal difference record, and they're 11 points off the top, and they don't look like getting any better.
Yeah,
it's damning. It's quite damning at the minute. He's got a big job on his hand, Pep.
Yeah. Garth, this is the team they put out against Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. Yeah,
Bernardo Silva, Rico Lewis on the right, Foden in the centre, Nunes on the left. It's almost as if he's run out of ideas. Like, is he overthinking it? What was his thought process in Nunes on the left, Rico Lewis on the right? What legs? What do you think it was?
Again, I have so much respect for Guardiola, so this may be a little bit of rose-tinted glasses. I'm thinking it's more what Fergie and Mourinho used to do, because I'm looking at that bench, man. He's got Savinho on the bench. He's got Grealish on the bench. He's got Doko on the bench. Any one of them three could have played instead of Lewis.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they're a little out of position, but any one of those three could. Like, you've also got De Bruyne on the bench, Gvardiol on the bench, Edison on the bench. I reckon he was doing the Ferguson Mourinho thing. When I want new transfers, this is the team I've got. And we're losing. And we're losing. Yeah. I told you we need more players, because I can't believe that he's picked that team based on anything other than that. Listen, it's different to, like, the pressure was there when it was Fergie and Wenger and those managers, but the pressure now, it's so intense on him. Maybe he's clopping it. Maybe this is the end of him. Maybe you know what I mean? Maybe. I do disagree, Steve, a little bit with that they're at the end. I don't think they are. I mean, look at Arsenal without Odegaard. You performed poorly. Almost every game that without him, you could tell you were missing him big time. They've got their two most influential players out.
That is 100% true, mate. That is 100% true. But I think it's with Arsenal. You could see with Odegaard there was a massive difference, right? Sometimes a key player for me, it's a lot more than just Rodri. I'm
not saying it's just that.
Not. For you, see, I know Rodri and Diaz have been out, and they're massive key players. But my point, really, why I worry for them even more than that. You could look at Arsenal and think, yeah, it was Odegaard. This ain't just Rodri and Diaz. This is a hell of a lot more.
Though, see, there's a big bit. Rodri is the single best player in his position in the world. Like, he's the best player in that position, and he is. This is why I thought he was a great shout for Ballon d'Or. He was their most influential player last season. He is one of the most. He was the most influential player for Spain, pretty much. Like, if you take away your mouths, like theatrics is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Like, it's massive. It is massive. Because if this is the end, what we're saying is out of nowhere, Pep has lost two players and they've just fallen off a cliff completely.
But it can be the end. It can be the end for one season. This ain't like, they are allowed to have one off season and
you mean the end of the season? You don't mean the end of Pep, as in Manchester City's?
I haven't said it's the end of Man City or the end of Pep.
No, that's what I think Garth was saying.
We're talking about this season, aren't we? In isolation, we're talking about.
I thought you was talking. It sounded like when you said the end, it sounded like you meant like the end of City's domination.
Well, it's the end. It's the end of like Walker. It's the end of like Silva who wants to leave. It's the end of Gundogan. It's coming to the end of De Bruyne. They need a rebuild. This is the end of this team.
That will prove how good he is if he does the rebuild properly. You know what I mean? Because there's always the thing when it comes. I think they're the 1 and 2, Fergie and Pep, and I often put Pep number 1. But what he's never really done is gone through these lean years with a club.
Yeah, and he's allowed that. And
rebuilt it. I mean, listen, you can't. You should have a bit of foresight, but I'll come back to you can't account for losing those two. Just like Arteta, when he let Vieira go on loan, couldn't account for Odegaard being out and having no back and letting them with Smith Rowe go. There's no backup there. Same Man United with the defence that we had a couple of years ago where they were injured and it's like we're playing whoever at left back, with Casemiro at left back. Like, yeah, I know what you're saying. I think I'm being, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm being very nervous about writing Man City off. I know it's 11 points, but if you boys are still in the title race, they're still in the title race. So
yeah, but we're talking about now, haven't we? You're looking at
they've been poor. There's no choice about it. They have been poor, man.
If you're talking about it now, you go through Arsenal's team, you go through Man City's team, they had that against Liverpool, and you're like, well, look, as we sit now, they're not going above Arsenal this season. We can only talk about now.
You can't, because we're hypothesising about the future. Because all that happens if Arsenal lose Saka and Odegaard next week. If Liverpool lose Salah and a big player, if Chelsea lose 2 or 3 big players, like it can turn.
But I think my point is that the reason why I think they got worries now, maybe this season, maybe even next season, is that they've got 4 massive players coming to the end. That they can't just go out and buy those players the equivalent of.
Yeah, no,
right?
they can't.
So they've got to. They can't do. It's impossible. So when you look at it like that, you're thinking, okay, you may have to wonder. I'm not saying this is the end of Pep. I'm not saying this is the end of Man City. Man City will be back, but when they will be back, at this moment in time, as we sit, there's so much to do. You can't help but think to yourself, how long is this going to take?
Yeah, I think. I think when you look at the team that Pep come in with from Man City, it was a very different type of team to what he has now. So the first transition from Pep, from what they were to Pep, was in that, you can say, was in the first season where he didn't. I think he came in the top 4, but he didn't quite have it. Following season, I think he won it, didn't he? So that's your first transition. Within that, he's then transitioned from moving out Aguero, the goals that you're getting from Aguero. Like, you transition from David Silva. So he's done it, but what he's been able to do along the way is, see that's coming up, throw someone in there 2 seasons before that. Throw someone in there 2 seasons before that. The Aguero one was slightly different. They've been playing a false 9 or no 9 because due to Aguero's injury, so they've been able to play without Aguero. So they've had that experience of doing that when he wasn't there. So the transition from going to that to a Haaland was a little bit easier. The problem they've had is there is no replacement for Kevin De Bruyne, and there is no one in the world. That's what we've got to remember. What Garth is saying, we're talking Ballon d'Or winner like a Rodri. No. I think what we saw last season is when Kevin De Bruyne went there for the first half of the season, and Rodri was there, that Man City can adapt their play to be more resilient, tighter, not very pleasing on the eye, which is why I think we were getting a lot of people saying, "Oh, Man City are boring to watch. They're too because they kind of had to, because what are you asking Foden to be a Kevin De Bruyne? He's not that guy. He's not that guy. He's maybe midfielder.
Yeah,
but he ain't that guy.
Yeah, maybe Foden's the type of player that needs. I mean, we haven't seen it, have we? In this Man City era of dominance, Maybe we're seeing that Foden now. Look, you've got to stand up now. But he hasn't got the man behind him. Maybe he can't. So maybe he's not able to.
No, but the reason
I don't think he's as good as we thought. Anyway,
he's not.
You know what I mean, Boss? When he was at England, he doesn't show it, does he?
Wait. Last season, he had Rodri behind him, and Rodri is not a DM. He's not just a DM. He starts off the play. He starts it off. He takes the ball with him. And he's a very progressive midfielder, very progressive. And he had that behind him. Foden ain't got that behind him. Foden needs someone to supply him as well. He's not the guy. He's not the guy to pick it up, spray it, there, pop it. He's not that guy. He's not that guy.
He's a 14-yard impact player. Foden. That's where he's best.
I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, but Jack Grealish as well. Do you know what I mean? For me, he's someone that helps Foden's game.
Yeah.
When Jack Grealish is doing that work, he does the work for Foden. He holds the ball up for Foden. He gets the free kicks for Foden. He plays that assist before Foden. Who's he got next to him now? Grealish has dropped off form, or he's dropped off, or he's injured. He's got no one. De Bruyne's not there. He's gone. Gundogan's not the same player. Silva doesn't seem like he's the same player. Alvarez is left. It's
in that whole
really
midfield, you had Silva, who was the creative spark, and you saw in small bouts of the game where Silva would get the ball and dribble. That's Silva's game. His dribbling is second to none. Like, you can't get the ball off him. but he wants that person to link up with. They're missing key ingredients in this team. Steve was saying he doesn't know when they'll be able to fix it. It's a big question. It's a big question. How do you replace someone as good as Kevin De Bruyne, who's been putting up the numbers that Kevin De Bruyne has for the last 6-7 years? He's an absolute phenomenon. So asking Man City just to replace him just like that is a hard task.
I mean, who is there?
Asking to replace Rodri in one season without Kevin De Bruyne is another hard task. It's not an excuse. It's just a fact. Now,
the thing is, though,
Rodri
will be back, though, won't he?
Huh?
Rodri will be back, but De Bruyne won't.
Yeah. He won't. What, Steve? What do you think the problem is with De Bruyne? Do you think he just wasn't match fit yesterday? Is why he didn't start? What do you think the answer was to why he was on the bench and not getting much game time?
I think he's probably not been fit. You know, he's coming back from injury. You know, his legs ain't the legs of what he once was. Coming up to 34 now. Especially in that Liverpool game, you needed a player in there who had legs. I think if you probably play De Bruyne in there from the start, which most of us would probably think, you've got to play De Bruyne in there, you know, Silky still, that's all right in a good Man City team when you're buzzing and you're clicking and everyone's on it, you know, but De Bruyne asked to defend and do all this, that's not Kevin De Bruyne's job. So I think that's another reason why he never started yesterday. And yeah, again, he's another worry. He's probably one of the greatest attacking midfield players, you know, we'll ever see in the Premier League. But everyone has to come to that time where it comes to an end. And when it does come to an end, sometimes you lose that little bit of pace, but you still show that skill. Mm-hmm. The problem that De Bruyne is showing now, he's getting injuries like bunged on with it. So when you're of an age and you're losing pace, and you also getting injuries like 4 or 5 times a season, then you know you've got a problem. And when it's someone of De Bruyne's ilk and of like standing and skill and you're losing that's massive, mate. I mean, we were talking about Mo Salah, you know, last week. We were saying like who could replace him. You got a similar thing with De Bruyne. Who is out there that can replace Kevin De Bruyne? There's just not. There's just not anybody, you know, among, and then you've got bad on all other Man City's output. Probably the only person who's capable, probably, again, we go and look at us, probably Odegaard or something, you know, and you can't really, from the Premier League anyway. But,
so, just on that, Steve, and we'll go to you next on that one, this one, Garth. What do Liverpool do with the man that is Mo Salah? His contract runs out at the end of the season. They've seen transitions before with the likes of Bobby Firmino and Sadio Mane, and they're still not really recovered from losing those. How do they recover from losing a Mo Salah, or do they just have to bite the bullet and sign him up on an extended contract like he wants?
Yeah, I mean, for you know, looking at it from like a neutral fan's eye, I mean, you would just think that you've just got to sign him up because there's just no one out there. But look, I said to it a few weeks ago, and I think the more that, you know, I've spoken to people since that time, Liverpool are really sort of don't want to give him that 3-year contract. And you see from when he come out, was it in the middle of the week when he come out and he was saying that, you know, how angry he was, you know, about that you know, no one had offered him anything. Well, he's right, they haven't. No one's offered him nothing because they're still debating over it. But what do you do about it? I mean, the only thing it's good from an Arsenal point of view because, you know, you think Salah, you know, once he's gone, you know, you think, oh, that will give Arsenal an extra chance of maybe going on and winning the title, and especially if City, you know, are starting to, you know,
we'll have one season window, like a small gap between Liverpool losing Salah and Man City getting their asses back into gear with Pep. And what happens? Man United will turn up. Chelsea will turn up.
Chelsea.
That's probably our luck. But yeah, I mean, and Liverpool not nowhere near in a similar situation. They've taken advantage of a few problems that Man City and Arsenal have had, you know, and good luck to them. But you know, Liverpool maybe in a year or 2 years could be in a similar situation with Salah and Van Dijk. Trent, I think's gone. I think he's
that's done, isn't it? Yeah,
I think he's gone. So I don't think that's a loss. I really don't think it's a loss. I keep hearing about the world-class Trent. Well, he's a great player, no one's denying that. But is he a world-class defender? I don't think so. Is he a world-class midfielder? No, I don't think so. He's just he's excellent on the ball.
Class at what he does. He's world class. I know what you're saying. Is he a defender?
Yeah.
He ain't a midfielder. He's a right back. He isn't the most defensive right back in the world, but what he does, he's world class at. Steve, he's a world class player. He is like he's not a world class defender. He's not a world class midfielder. I know exactly what you're saying, but he is a world class player just because of the assists he brings to the game, what he can do with his passing range. He's not an awful defender. I think this is the one of the things that's been overblown a little bit. He's not the best. He really isn't, but he's a good standard defender at the end of the day. And in Spain, when he goes to play for Real Madrid, like he's gonna have a whale of a time out there.
Yeah.
Like, I think you'll see the best of us there.
I think you're spot on, Garth. I think he's good at what he does. I think he's like when he's got that ball at his feet, he's a magician. So there's not many players you can say that, but I think it's a lesser loss because they've got Conor Bradley, and I think he's a really good player. I think he is a really good player.
Enough of him. You spoke about him last time, mate. I already haven't seen enough of him. But this is what I mean. For him to be able, for Conor Bradley to be able to replace Trent, I mean, he's got to be some talent in my mind. Like he'll have to be some talent because Trent is
more. Yeah.
He's a really good. This is why Trent gets a lot of stick that he can't defend. This is why, for some reason, England started playing him in midfield. But yeah, he's still. Listen, I'd have him at my club tomorrow. I really would. I'd have Trent tomorrow. And that's why Real Madrid next year are taking the mick, by the way. They get Alfonso Davies as well. Oh my goodness me.
And they're going to pull off. They're going to pull off another Mbappe, aren't they? Because they're going to get him for nothing.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like their squad's so stacked. They're talking about letting Tuchel go.
Yeah. Tchouaméni or Camavinga, isn't it?
I
was like, I'll take Tchouaméni all day long. Are you mad?
All day. He's a quality baller. I'll tell you what, no one's playing anyone other than Real Madrid on next year's FIFA. That much is for sure. If it's still alive, that is. But,
I will say, I think they will sort something out with Salah in the end. I think he'll stay.
You don't? Good.
I think so. I think they will stay in the end.
So whose contract runs it? It's Trent. How long has he got left?
6 months. He's done at the end of the year, isn't he, Trent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Salah and Trent at the end of the year. Both
Salah's, yeah. And BBD's?
Yeah.
Next year, isn't it? Oh, is it all three of them this year, is it?
No, it's Alisson's next year, I think.
Alisson's next year. They got. That's why, Gar. That's why. You know, when we was having that conversation about when we were saying, what you're going to do with Salah, and you were saying, well, it's a no-brainer. He's going to stay, and that's why, like in Liverpool situation, they've got 3 players there, all wanting new contracts, all wanting extending contracts, all of them running out at the end in the summer. Do you know what I mean? Financially, that's an ed.
I didn't say it's a no-brainer for Liverpool. What I mean is, because I get all of the financial stuff and everything, but for me, you're talking about one of the best who ever did it. He's been a loyal. I don't put any faith in loyalty because if he weren't playing well, they'd sell him tomorrow. But he's got a lot of loyalty into the club. He is your best player by a mile, and I don't. This is what I said. Unless they've got reasons about his physical fitness like deteriorating that we don't know about, I can't see any reason apart from financially why you don't just give him you give him 2 with an option of a year because you're definitely losing Trent. And for me, I think Virgil van Dijk is amazing.
Yeah, but
I do often think it's far easier to find commanding centre backs than any other position, especially in the modern game. Now, I'm not saying you'll be able to replace him straight away, but I think it's far easier to find a replacement for Virgil van Dijk than it is to find a replacement for Mo Salah, or funny enough for me, Steve, even a Trent. Weirdly, your boys might be in luck next year. Then, but like you said, Steve, if Man City lose, because De Bruyne is up next year, isn't it? So
this year.
This year.
So
they lose De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Liverpool lose all their players. Yeah, you might be in with a shout. Maybe another chance.
Liverpool talks are opened, but I agree with what Garth's saying there. I think it is easier to replace a centre back, and especially when you've got someone like a Konate already in there at the moment, who's already settled in. Trying to find someone who's should be easier than finding someone who can replace 45 goals a season, or goal contributions a season.
And Virgil van Dijk, I don't want to think I'm saying he ain't good. He's one of the best to ever do it as well. For like top 4 or 3 centre backs, in my opinion, Virgil van Dijk. But I just think I always feel like centre backs is one of them positions that if you're really good at it, there's not much difference between the best centre back and the really good centre back, if you know what I mean. So they'll be able to find someone to. He won't be as good as Van Dijk, but he'll be able to slot in there and play properly. I would have thought. So.
Yeah. I think I think Conor Bradley as well. I think you talk to a lot of Liverpool supporters, and they do tell you that he is suited to like slots system better than what Trent is. You don't really want Trent to go forward into midfield positions like Klopp did with his heavy metal football, where he wanted everybody to go crazy and mad. That's not the way slot is. So Conor Bradley sort of slots in there, and they're probably lucky to have him. But he was. I watched him against Real Madrid, and he had to mark Mbappe, and he had him in his pocket. Play to him.
Mbappe is an empty shell of a player compared to what he used to be.
Yeah, and I just want to phrase that: Aaron Wan-Bissaka pocketed prime Mbappe, and he's rubbish. So, like, just because you pocket a player once, that don't mean that.
Do you know what? I've always had this like tongue-in-cheek thing, but I've always said, because I've always had the tag of world class put to Mbappe. I said, can we just wait until he goes to properly?
You've said it before as well, Gar. Something similar.
Yeah, I've said very similar things where it's not. Listen, his ability clearly is massive, but until he's done it outside of France, I don't think you can call him world class. But then he's won the World Cup. Like, I think he is world class. I just don't think it was a bit like Saka last year for me. Like, clearly he was getting there, but you just didn't want to label him too early. And Mbappe for me, is he the best player in the world at the moment? Definitely not. I mean, what is he? 25? Mbappe? Yeah, but the talent is supreme. But yeah, until he does it outside. I mean, what's he doing at Real Madrid? I've heard it's bad, but like, hasn't he already scored like 8 goals or something?
Nine goal contributions. It's 8 goals, 1 assist, 13 games.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Like, this is Real Madrid taking the mick again. It's like, I know they want 25 in 13 games, but any club in the world is taking 9 goal contributions out of 13 games, ain't they? Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Steve. Like, until he does it properly outside France and leads that team as one of the best players in that squad. That's the only problem. Look, we saw it with the old Galacticos. You can get lost in that shuffle. No matter how good you are, you can get lost in that shuffle.
But that's what elevates you to that level where they say you are, because you stand out. Yeah. You stand out from the crowd. With the Mbappe, I don't think it's a question of the world-class bit, because you see when he goes to the World Cups and when he does it there, single-handedly scores how many, a hat-trick or 4 goals in a game to keep him in the final to keep him in it, which is one of the only ones to do it. But it's when he's labelled like the best in the world, the greatest of the planet, the greatest of all time. Like, nah, like, come on, like.
Yeah, he don't. I mean, for me, he's not as good as Mo Salah. If we're going to start comparing
French football, like again, but that comes down to player type as well. Like, what's your preference? Do you prefer the athletic, erect forward, or do you want someone who's a little bit different? They are probably more similar than most other players that are a bit more technically gifted. But Mbappe's just that different level of frequency.
Yeah, I've always had that like tongue-in-cheek thing about Mbappe, and I remember someone telling me who watches their French football a lot. They said what you tend to get with Mbappe, you only ever hear about him when he does good in France, when he's scoring hat tricks. When he's gone round 10 players and scored a goal. But there's a hell of a lot of times in France where he goes missing and that's absolute stinkers. Yeah. And people don't realise that, and it's never brought to the surface. So
how much has he progressed from the Monaco Mbappe to the Mbappe that we see today? Like, how much have he developed as a player? Would he have developed as a player better at a different team in a different league? I think that's I
actually don't think so. I don't think so, mate. I think that's because of the type of character he is. I think 6 years at Paris Saint-Germain is exactly what to become what he is as a player. Because I don't know whether, again, you've got to get lost in the shot. Listen, I know I've heard this as well, Steve, about in France, but when you've got stats of, what was it again, sorry? That's it, 256 goals, let alone assists, 256 goals in 308 games. You can have stinkers, you know what I mean? This is what Fergie used to say about Cantona. Like, when Cantona had a bad game, I forget who it was, it might have been, it was someone, let's just say it's Keith Gillespie, I'm probably like deriding his name now, but he had a word for it, like, you've been playing bad.
What's he done to you?
I should be playing. And he was like, can you do what he does? Can you do it? No, you can't. You can't. So he gets to have a stinker because next week he'll be back. But yeah, he's not the best player in the world, Mbappe. For me, he's world class. He is world class. But I know what you're saying still. I'm exactly the same. I struggle to call him the best player in the world. I really do. Especially when you still got Messi and Ronaldo knocking about. And I know they're old, but they could go and join any team they wanted pretty much and still rip it up. So
I'd still take him at Arsenal. Anyway, yeah.
Give it a shot. Give him a redemption arc, Old Trafford.
364 games, 364 goals in 308 games, 364 goal contributions in 308 games.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you can get away with having you can definitely get away with having a bad game if you're putting up numbers like that, can't you? So.
Man United and Marcus Rashford, as he found a new lease of life under Ruben Amorim. Who better to ask than Garth Lewis? Garth, 4-0 victory against West Ham, cruising yesterday. Everton.
That's all the
mate. Cruising yesterday as well. I actually caught the second half.
You missed the first part. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, no, I saw a dejected Everton team that had nothing to offer and multiple chances for Man United. But tell me about the first half.
Well, to be fair, Ruben Amorim, you know what? I know it's fresh manager and I'm all hyped, you know what I mean? Adam McCullough said, I am ready to get hurt again. There's no two ways about it. But I'm ready to mingle. You know what I mean? I'm ready to mingle with him.
You've got to mingle, mate. You've got to mingle.
With him. You know what I mean? His press conference after the game, he said exactly after the scoreline was deceptive on the actual game. Everton could have been 2-0 up in that first half. We've still got our frailties. This formation is still... You can tell players don't quite know at moments where they're meant to be. We were very sloppy in the first 20, 25, 30 minutes. And then we scored. And Everton just crumbled. Like just crumbled, mate. It was crazy how bad they were in the end. So, yeah, if you only saw the second half, it probably looked like a demolishing.
But it really did. Like, they had nothing. Man United were picking them apart in the end.
Yeah. But Everton, I mean, just quickly on Everton, they're so poor at the moment. They haven't scored in 4 lowest goals in the Premier League, joint with whoever it is. They need to find anyone who can put the ball in the onion bag. And it's not like they ain't got money. They definitely should have had a sniff at Ivan Toney. I know he's gone Saudi and the money is ridiculous.
Good shout.
But yeah, like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he just ain't it. Beto, I like Beto because when Sporting, I think he was. I used to buy him on Champ quite a bit. He's still young, but he ain't doing it. No, it's the other one they've got in it, Cherifi. But anyway, they've got 3 strikers basically.
Yeah, they've got the skinny guy.
Yeah. They've got 3 strikers, and none of them can put the ball in the onion bag. So yeah, they're in a terrible state of arrears. They're resilient, Sean Dyche, but I mean Tarkowski yesterday, 2 horrific mistakes. Really, considering everyone's touting him as a 75, 80 million pound defender. They're still playing. Yeah, they're still playing Ashley Young at right back. I mean, it feels like I was in my 20s when he was at Man United. Ashley Young, how's he still playing? He must be 40.
They brought Nathan Patterson towards the end as well. So,
they're in a terrible state. But Man United looking good. Wednesday night, it's going to be the real litmus test for this formation, for this team, for Amorim. I don't think we're getting a result. Obviously, we're at your turf, and you're playing magnificently. If we come out there with a draw, I'm going to be very hopeful for this Man United team. I tell you what, though, just briefly on the side note, you can tell these players were not playing for Ten Hag. They were not playing for 7 games since he's left. 3 draws, 4 wins. 3 draws, 4 wins since he's left. Rashford's bagged 3 goals in 2 games. Zelensky got a brace the other night. Hoyland got a brace the other night. These Ten Hag clearly, Steve, you're right, man. He just wasn't the man. Clearly, they were not playing for him at all. But yeah, Amorim, he says he's good. He comes across as a man full of confidence. He comes across as a man who's going to be able to lead this team. Rashford smiling, but then again, all this guff was done the first couple of weeks of Ten Hag's tenure as well. The Twitter posts of top training session, the Instagrams, let's go again, the YouTubes of the training. So, like I say, I am ready. This team's still got its frailties, but listen, this is the first time I scored 4 goals against the Premier League team since 2021. So
really, wow,
yeah. Oh, sorry, 1 by 4 goals. 1 by 4 goals. They may have scored 4 goals. 1 by 4 goals since 2021. They said on the TV. So very happy. Team's looking decent. Ahmed Diallo's finally getting his minutes. I'm surprised he did right wing back. So his defensive still not fantastic, but he done so well. yeah, Rashford looking at his everyone's scoring, you know what I mean? And weirdly, this team of what under 10 looked like you wouldn't want any of them in your starting lineup. All of a sudden, we've got options. All of a sudden, there's like Shaw's back, Malasica's back. You know what I mean? We've got Ugarte who can cover Casemiro. No, Lenny Euro's back. We've got like he even plays it. Like it's weird. It's absolutely weird. So
I said that when Carragher dropped that line that said Casemiro should leave football for football leaves you, and I thought that was such an
so disrespectful
remark coming from someone who didn't really get the respect that he was due until the latter stages of his career, especially when he retired from England, so he could prolong his Liverpool career, and then he started getting more plaudits from other people.
No, it wasn't just that, was it? He refused to go to England because he wouldn't sit on the bench any longer. That's why we all got upset with Joe Carragher. Yeah, that's what that is 100% weird. Like he said, what he said was, "Listen, I've got and as an adult now, as a 40-year-old, like I can see it. He's like, I've got a family, I've got a wife, I've got kids. You asked me to come to Montenegro on a Tuesday night. It's 3 days away for me to just sit on the bench. Give a young person the time. You don't need me there. I think it was always one of them. Like, if you need me to start, I will come. You know what I mean? But otherwise, just give it like you got Terry, you got Ferdinand at that period. You're not busting through that. But
yeah.
So,
well,
but this is what you said.
Yeah, he's a player who's got more respect in the latter stages of his career. So to hear that from him. Nah, poor. Yeah. And you can't go from the conversations we were having with who's been the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League. Casemiro was in that conversation. So the following season, he's leave football for leaves you. Come on, it was silly. The problem was Casemiro was doing too much. He's having on average over 2 shots a game. He's in and around the box at the end of the game. He's having to come and cover and track back. Mainly didn't look like he had the defensive discipline to hold that midfield. So you're asking a bit too much for a guy who's aging a bit and a young kid. Like that's what it was for me. And now
I said that from the start, didn't I? Yeah, I said that from the Mano. Yeah. Like, stop all this pressure on this kid. He ain't a DM. He ain't got the legs. He's not an attacking midfielder, but a creative midfielder. Yeah.
He's an eight.
Yeah,
he's an eight.
Yeah.
So look, we've seen Casemiro's looking much better since then. Everyone at Man United looking better. It's just they've got a new lease of life. But is it too early to be playing Arsenal? Steve, do you think it's too early for this Ruben Amorim team to make an impact against Arsenal on Wednesday night?
No, not at all. Man United can come there, and they by all means can come and get something. Arsenal be favourites. Obviously they're there at home. With all of a sudden it formed. We're back to full strength, so you would expect Arsenal to go and win the match. And maybe it's a little bit more important for Arsenal to win that game. Probably not as important as for Manchester United to win, because they're still they're not on a train. If they lose it, no one's going to be saying, Man United, back to this again. This is all about Man United and building, for the future. And, they've had a great start under it. I like Amorim, and, for me, they got the right man in. I like his way, the gist of his way he speaks. But there's certainly no reason why they can't come and get a result. This is against Arsenal. Look, this is the Premier League, and we've already seen Arsenal slip up. We've seen Liverpool slip up this season. Every team slips up, home and away. So to say that Man United can't come and get a result, and if there's anything that the United players will want to sort of prove, is that things have improved and under Amorim, and they are going to go forward. And what better game than to play against Arsenal and get a result against them? But it will be difficult for them. Do you know what I mean?
It'll be more difficult. Can I just say that? It's also a chance for Man United to keep the happiness going. Like, it's a chance for Man United. Like, there's a lot of chances for Man United. I don't think we win. I really don't. I think you're playing too well at the moment, mate. I really do. I know you've got to say that. The only thing I can say that is a little different with Arsenal than a lot of the Premier League teams is obviously they played you twice last year, was it?
What's that?
Sporting. They played in the Europa League. Was it last year, the year before?
Yeah.
So he's got a tiny bit of insight into how Arsenal play. Very small, but it's just every percentage counts in football. You know what I mean? So like, there's only that. But listen, you're playing so as we're about to get into with the Harrods Gate. You're playing so well at the moment. He don't know his best team either. So he really don't know his best team. And
I think that's,
it'd be interesting.
That's playing to Arsenal's hands slightly. Is the fact that he doesn't know his best team, and in these sorts of games, you need to be a bit more tactically astute and pick players for the game, maybe. And he may not be able to have that in his locker, so we will see.
That's your interesting part. I was just about to say he's obviously most of the game they're going to be having to probably defend on this one. So it'd be interesting to see what team he picks, whether he'll change his system a little bit. Because we've seen him change it a couple of times. We've always been told that Amorim's this rigid, plays this way, that way. Well, I think I've watched 3 of the United games since he's come here. I think I've seen all of them live, and each of them, they look different in every game. So he will have to change it against Arsenal because they're going to be on the back foot for most of the time. So it will be interesting, but. Again, I'm one of these fans who worries about every result and every team, and so
a few years, Steve, you should worry just a little bit, just a little bit, like a tiny little bit, because Man United are looking better. But the way you are playing, you so like it's some of the best football I've seen in the Premier League, like free flowing, attacking. Good to watch football in a long time.
And these games are always tight. I mean, the game at Old Trafford last year, I mean, I think everybody was saying Arsenal were going to thrash you 5-0, 4-0. And right from the off, I was like, this ain't going to be that. It never is that. Even when we beat you 3-1. No,
I was going to say, you could have the game 3 or 4-0, Steve, that 1-0. You could have won that by a couple more goals, definitely.
But
it's a tough game. It's Man United Arsenal. It's Man United Arsenal. Like, I don't think what I mean. It's been a long time since there's been an absolute schlepping. You know what I mean? Like a big old 5-0 or 6-0 or something. So it's always.
I don't think it'd be anything like that.
No, it's going to be a good game. I think. It's actually going to be like. This is you can tell from the joy I've got. What I love at the moment. I'm actually enjoying watching football again. I'm actually wanting to watch Man United play football. I'm getting excited.
I mean, I know you want to beat, but I can remember when Arsenal were in this. We was 5th and we was 8th, and we was in this type of like transition. I was always a little bit different from other fans, Garth. I always used to look forward to just seeing how we was progressing and how better we was going to do. And sometimes we would get beat 1-0 by a top 4 team or a team that's third or was one of our rivals from past type. But I used to get excited over it. Do you know what I mean? I used to think, that was good.
No, apart from the FA Cup final, mate, the last 12 months have been a week to week of literally like,
But now it's a little bit different, isn't it? Now it should be a little bit different. I remember distinctly like, oh God, I got to watch Man United Galatasaray. Oh, I could be doing anything.
But the thing is, you're like at home as well. At home, you're like, it's a win. What are you talking about? Like, surely it's a win.
I remember you saying that, didn't you?
I'm like, surely it's a win. What are you talking about? Surely it's a win. You're like, stop. You shut up. You're on my nerves.
So there was no progression, Steve. So I know what you're saying. I watch every game. You know what I mean? The only time I didn't watch Man United was when the Super League thing was coming about, and that's why I missed the UEFA Cup final for that. But I'm excited again, man. I'm excited. You should be excited. The Premier League, this is why it's the best league in the world, man. There's stories from 1 to 20, and I'm sure every league's got that, but every club's playing for something, man. Every club is like Man United are playing for their dignity at the moment. You know?
I mean, the pressure's on us again because, do you know what I mean? We have to keep winning. Do you know what I mean? We have to keep winning to.
Can't slip up. Unless Liverpool, you can't slip up.
Yeah. No, we can't. Yeah. We can't because it's not. For me, it's not about the 9 points. Over a season, you can make up the 9 points. It's about the mentality. It's about Liverpool feeling that they've got a massive buffer. They've got a gap. There's no worries because even if we do drop points, they can't make up them points in 1-2 games. It's got to be over a certain period of time. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that when Liverpool draw, we win. When Liverpool draw again, we win. So that 9 points then drops to 7 points. That 7 points then drops to 5 points. And then the mentality starts to step in. Then can they deal with the pressure? Are the youngsters, because it's yes, they've got the Allisons, the Van Dijks, and the Salahs, which is a massive benefit because they've been here before. And then we talk about Zinchenko and Jesus. They've been there before, but they've been there before with Arsenal. These have been there before with Liverpool. They've been around it. This team's seen it, yeah. So those things help. But there's players in there like Conor Bradley. There's players in there like McAllister that have not been in these positions before, and it's those ones where we're going to be able to tell whether the pressure's really going to count and how much it matters. So look. It is about making sure that we keep the pressure on, making sure we keep piling on wins until it is completely over. And that's it. We don't give up.
I thought Jaws had been banned from football after listening to Redknapp, Carragher, Neville and Keane on Sky Sports the other day. You know, I'm like, have Jaws been banned from football?
Who's that? Redknapp, Carragher, Neville and Keane, did you say?
Yeah, the Sky Sports mob.
There's going to be a varied amount of opinions there, isn't there?
Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, now Liverpool have got to lose 4, and Arsenal got to win their next 4." And I'm like, "Have Jaws been banned?"
It works. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was about to say. No, you're right. Yeah, it's not how it works. Exactly right. What you just said, Keir, spot on. You may come down to the last game of the season, still 1 point behind Liverpool, and that last game, it all comes down. I mean, it was last year, wasn't it? It all come down to the last game of the season. Was it the last game of the season?
And we fell off the season before, not because of losses, because of draws. 2-2 against Liverpool, 2-2 against West Ham, 3-3 against Southampton. Not losses, draws. 1-2 against 2-2 against Fulham, draws. Like
we're 9 points behind. We're 9 points. We're 9 points behind Liverpool now because of draws.
Yeah.
That's why we're 9 points. And I mean, for my to sort of give me that little bit of more hope, I think those draws, 2 of them were when we went down to 10 men. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think there's a lot between Liverpool and Arsenal. I don't. The gap looks a lot, 9 points. There ain't 9 points between Liverpool and Arsenal team wise.
There's not. Because we drew 2-2. There's not. But that's not the issue, Steve. The problem here is not whether who's the better team, Liverpool or Arsenal. That's not. Don't matter. It's who will beat these teams that they put in front of them. And right now, Liverpool are absolutely chewing through the opponents, which is enough to worry people before they even get into those games and have that psychological defeat, which seems to be what we were getting. What Man City had. Now, people are going to Man City and going, these are for the taking. Chances they wouldn't even bother to make before, they are trying now. The same thing happened with Arsenal. When Arsenal were a team that people didn't think would be defeated, and then people were like, kick him in the air. So everyone kicks in the air, and they're soft. They've got a soft underbelly. No, we just got our legs broken every other week.
I mean, they've got Newcastle away and Everton away in the next week, Liverpool. So,
if they come through that,
we ain't gonna do this. I did this with Villa. And Man City.
It's still a derby. Everton Liverpool's still a derby. It ain't can happen. But they take the 6 points. This is the thing with Liverpool now. Everyone was saying they played no one big. They just dismantled Man City. Did they play Chelsea already?
Real Madrid. Chelsea
Real Madrid.
Season, they got a couple of weeks.
So basically, they just haven't played Arsenal. They just basically haven't played Arsenal. Yeah, that's what
they played Arsenal. We drew.
I mean, Arsenal fans get carried away. They're already looking at Everton. They're already looking at Newcastle. I think they've got to play Brighton. They've got a really hard run up to Christmas. A really hard set of fixtures, Liverpool. And I'm like, hold on a minute. We've got Man United Wednesday night. Hold on a minute. We've got to beat Bedford or anything.
This is the problem. People are looking at the teams in form. I ain't looking at Brighton going, cool, it's going to take points of Liverpool. They might do, but 9 times out of 10, they ain't gonna. You really do want. I don't care. You really do want the Man United. You want the Chelseas. You want the Man Cities. But even the Tottenhams, you want them to be playing Liverpool. Sorry, Brighton, but you ain't there. If you do get points of Liverpool, congratulations. But I am not looking at the Brighton game going, this is a team that can take points of Liverpool. This is a team that might be able to do something against Liverpool, but they're not.
You've just got to concentrate on your own business.
Exactly, and that's what you've got to do. That's what you've got to do.
That's what Arsenal, Chelsea have got to do now. Just literally knuckle down, don't care. That's what Fergie always used to say when they're behind. I think Wenger said, once you're chasing someone, don't worry about what they're doing. But check the results. Check the results on the weekend. But it's all about the 90 minutes on the pitch that you're putting in. It doesn't matter what they do.
Villa have fallen off a cliff, haven't they? You know, I think they've got Villa as well.
12
Champions League, Champions League. But we've seen this. How many times we've seen this with a club who's never made Champions League? They then go Champions League, and all of a sudden the form nosedives. Like,
Villa need to be careful. Villa need to be careful. High wages, players that are not happy that they're not in the Champions League anymore. People start downing tools. You can't get anything out of the team that you need to. And I'm not saying this is going to happen to Villa, but we saw it happen to Leicester. It's a slow, painful death when these things happen. You've got to make sure that you've got your things in check. You've got your players. You've got the right mentality that you're bringing in, and not just players that join you because you're in the Champions League and it's a stepping stone. Nah. So Villa, be very, very careful. But I won't really care what happens to Villa because those fans seem to have come out their box as soon as they started challenging the same table, sitting at the same table as Arsenal. I never heard so much nonsense come out of their mouths. But that is it.
They're a bigger club. They won the Champions League, obviously. You know.
Oh God! I had Brighton. I had Brighton fans on at me. I had Newcastle fans. I had Villa fans talking like, "Oh yeah." And then when we finished above them in the table, they were like upset, and I was like, "Why are you upset?" Oh, shut up, typical Arsenal fan. Why are you upset? You were never. You thought this was a thing? Oh, okay.
You had a dream. You had a dream, man. I saw that.
I did an article the other day about Ruud van Nistelrooy going to Leicester. And I don't know how they did. Well, somehow they must have known it was an Arsenal. It was funny because I'll send you it. But underneath the thing, the Leicester fans said, "When was the last time you won the league?" And I'm like, "What? What's this?"
Oh, shut up! Oh my God!
And I'm like, hold on a minute. Like,
get out of it.
Someone's got something against me and knows I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm like, this is about.
But how are Leicester fans dropping that?
I thought it was funny.
You were in the Championship.
I was just about to say, like as long ago that we won the title, then you got relegated. I'll give you that. But we've never been down there, mate. So calm down.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, Les, have you seen the FA Cup draw? Third round.
Yeah.
You've seen it, Steve? Yeah.
Yeah.
Man United Arsenal, third round of the FA Cup draw at Emirates.
Do you know, Q? Do you know?
No.
I'm just like, what? I'm nearly getting Hereford or man like Doncaster.
I'm trying to win a cup this season. Do you know what I mean? It's consolation for not potentially not winning the league.
It's at home. It's at home. It's the only saving.
It's at home, and we're in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup as well. But still, it don't matter.
One of us is going to get slagged off for going out in the third round, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No,
don't take this cutscene. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Don't feel Man United is still rubbish at the moment. So we got a little bit of a bias.
Yeah, but mate, you're in the cup, mate. Cup's your thing, mate.
Yeah,
so
what I have to say,
it's insulting. You're not a cup team, sir.
We're like the record cup winners, aren't we? What our fans say, do you know what? Concentrate on other things. Concentrate on other things. Come the end of the season, we'll get one. Do you know what? Do you know what? We should be looking at the FA Cup and thinking we could win that.
The first thing when I did, I said, I thought, bet you any money you like, the week after we got some massive team, we were playing Manchester United. I went and had a look, Tottenham at home. I knew it.
What, after the FA Cup?
After the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Sorry. It is a nice segue into Arsenal, though. There is a nice segue into Arsenal for you there, bro. As I saw that prop up.
And more on that. Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah, you better talk for the next 2 minutes because I'll probably be popping off.
Oh, yeah.
It's 9 o'clock.
Arsenal absolutely demolished West Ham this weekend, 5-2. And even West Ham's goals were probably flattering to them. Steve absolutely trounced West Ham this weekend, and Arsenal really looking in really good form and looking like they are flying at the moment now.
Yeah, it was emphatic, wasn't it? I mean, 5-2. I mean, you always. I mean, I know we beat them 6-0 last year, but I always expect it's to be having a decent game against them. But right from the off, again, it was all about Odegaard and Saka yet again. I mean, we're absolutely outstanding. Okay, we got a couple of penalties. First one with Saka won. I thought I wasn't too sure. I thought, was he gone over a little bit easy there? But we got it. Second one with Gabriel, he's punched him. Fabianski didn't moan, so I was
punched him in the head. I've done that. I've given away a penalty like that myself. So,
but he was fair play. Fabianski, he literally missed. They're saying we didn't do it on purpose. Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Unfortunately, but we was good. And and it was a good victory, and it followed on from, the demolition of Sporting as well. Like on Wednesday night when we played them, we're really in a good run of form, leading up to some Wednesday against United. So hopefully that stands us in good stead. But there was some good performances. 2 good goals from West Ham. To be fair to them, I thought. Do you know what I mean?
Good free kick from Emerson, but lovely free kick. Should never have been a free kick.
Should never have been a free kick, but I did. Yeah,
when you brought up at that point, like let him have a free kick for goodness. You know what I mean? Come on now, the field's for everyone. Let them all play. You know what I mean?
Was that 4-0? Was that 4-2?
Was that 4-2 the second free kick? You right actually.
Sorry, I think it was 4-2.
4-2.
Right, yeah, that's why I was getting annoyed.
We gave him one Garth. Come on, man. We gave him one.
Come back on.
No, but it wasn't a free kick, but it was a great goal. And I thought the first one was a good goal as well. I think maybe Calafiori got. Yeah. I thought it was a great ball.
Finished.
And I thought, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's doing quite well at West Ham, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Probably the right type of club for him. Yeah. Wan-Bissaka, and he's doing well then. It was a good finish from him. But we literally went up the other end and scored and won 5-2. But look, I just like to give a couple of quick shout outs to just a couple of players. I thought Jorginho was absolutely outstanding. I mean, every time he comes into the side, he never lets us down. Partey was out. I thought, that's a loss. He's been great. Jorginho come in and was like, maybe even man of the match. He was excellent. And someone that hasn't been shouted at, and I want to shout him out because he's had a lot of stick off of Arsenal fans over the last year or two. And that's I thought Alexander Zinchenko when he come on, thought he was faultless.
He did close. He did sure up the game, didn't he? And he had that little bit extra quality as well, getting the balls in the box and just And again, he hadn't been mentioned, and I thought we looked better with him in the side actually than when we did when Calafiori was on the pitch. And it's not to say prefer one over the other. I just thought Zinchenko came in, and every time he just looked like the old Zinchenko we was when we first bought him. That can only but no one's obviously sort of flagged that. But I thought I'd flag it because it was something I noticed through the game. Every time he got the ball, he was no loose passes. He was causing problems when going forward, and then he was good defensively. So big up. I think that's fair because Zinchenko, he's one of them players where people go over the top. People go massively over the top with his defending or how he plays and stuff like that. And yes, Zinchenko has had a couple of shaky games. But when you look at those shaky games, you're like, it's a shaky game against Liverpool. It's a shaky game against Man City. It was a shaky game. Like, it's against like some seriously top teams. And he's had his moments in other games. But you've got to remember, this guy was in his first season at Arsenal was nominated for Player of the Season. He got 4 Player of the Month awards in his first season at Arsenal. Like he was frightening how good he was. So to see how he was getting treated last season by some of the Arsenal fans, get him out of my club. I don't want to see him in my club. It's so over the top. It's so over the top. It's just
on the flip side,
bad games. bring in someone more defensively sound. So in certain games, you had to play them. We did it against Liverpool the season before when we played Tomiyasu at left back to stop Salah. Salah was non-existent. And then after that, Zinchenko was brought back in. Like, we can rotate. We've got good enough players to rotate or play players in certain positions when they're fit. So, yeah.
I mean, Saka and Odegaard were excellent. Another lovely little flick goal, ball flick. He seems to be becoming a little bit of a trait of his, isn't it? Odegaard flicking the ball up through over the top. Yeah, that was great. But on the flip side, I mean, it's not too much of a worry. Not yet anyway, but just thought Jesus and Sterling didn't really impress when they come on again. You know, they looked a bit. They was trying. They looked like. I don't know. It looks like we need a little bit more from them. You know, they're trying too hard again. For me, they've got so much ability, the two of them. We know they have. I think they're trying too hard. Maybe Arteta changed it up a little bit too much. He made so many substitutions, didn't he? I want them both to so much want them to show us something, but at the moment they're just not for me. And Jesus certainly is getting a little bit worrying.
Yeah, the thing is, Jesus, I think from the performance that I saw with Jesus the other day, I think he's a little bit trying too hard. And again, what annoys me is I think that, because as a fan, I feel like I can see the player that he is, that when he misses a chance, he gets in his own head. You see him the other day when he missed that chance and he started kicking the post. It's like, mate, it's one chance. But he was doing that when he scored, when he first joined us, and he was scoring and getting assists. And he was smashing it. When he missed, kicked the post, punched the floor. It's like, mate, you've got to relax. Like, the chances are going to come. And if you're tight and stiff when a chance comes in, you've lost that composure. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Sterling's, when he came on, I felt he was too relaxed. I wanted to give him a kick up the arse. Yeah. I wanted to, and then it's. I don't know whether it's because he came on and it looked like the game was over, so he thought he could just stroll through the game. But he got a short, sharp shot pretty quickly because he just wasn't on it. And then people, and then he sort of got into the game a bit more. But I think with Jesus, I think it's a case of just being involved, and he needs to feel like he's making a difference in a part of it. And Sterling, again, I think he needs to get a goal or get something because he came on the other day and set up beef in one area and he looked all right. So, I just think they're two good players that are still are very frustrated and want some game time. But you're not going to get that game time until you deliver when you do come on. So it's catch-22 for them.
Now you know why. Sorry, Steve. You know why he's kicking the post. That's exactly what I was about to say. I know he did it before as well, but for me, both Sterling and Jesus, they're players that are just a little too good to be backup, which is what they are in your team. They're not even rotation. They're pretty much backup. They're not good enough to be starting in your team, but they're not going to thrive unless they're at another club playing week in, week out, especially Sterling. Sterling is not going to thrive coming on for 20 minutes here, half hour there, getting a start. He's just not.
And not at 29. He's looking at it like, this should be my prime years. This should be my prime years.
Can I ask you? Let me ask you what something, because I watched the game. There was quite a bit of talk thinking about it. I was quite about your defensive, like not being up to par against West Ham, because they could have easily have scored 4, possibly 5 goals. You had the Somerville lovely chip over Rout, offside, obviously, but you then had the 2 goals that they did score, and then right at the end, Danny Ings, didn't he? Basically, had a lovely chance to put it straight across the face of goal. So I didn't see it personally, but I've read a couple of reports saying that you were below par defensively against West Ham.
Thanks for bringing it up. We're worried about Wednesday as it is, mate.
No. First half, no, definitely not. Because in the first half, I can't even remember West
conceding 2 goals.
Was that the first half?
Yeah, was it all in the was it first half that they scored? They definitely got 1 in the first half, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's all first half. That's what I'm going to say. It's all 7 goals for the first half. That's what I thought.
First half?
Yeah. All in the first half, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Somerville's one was first. That's what I mean. It could have been 5-3 at half time, and then West Ham had a couple of chances. I mean, you did as well, but
Yeah.
I think it's one of them, a bit like the Man United game. I think the scoreline is a little bit deceiving of the from what I saw of the actual performance. Like you were ruthless, you were clinical.
No, not West Ham. They were terrible.
No, they were.
No,
I mean,
no, West Ham were piss poor. Like Locatelli. I said it before the game, jokingly, I think last week. Arsenal will be the game that loses his job. I'm surprised he's still there after that.
They got the Newcastle result, didn't they, the week before? So that's like
there we
sort
go.
of
yeah. They had nothing. Did Bowen play?
He played. Yeah, he started.
They had nothing. They had. This is why the 2 goals. Yeah, the goal for Wan-Bissaka came out of nowhere, and the worry about the second goal was because it was a free kick. It wasn't a free kick, and they scored from it. It was like, oh my god, this could give them the catalyst to get back in the game. Now we don't need this. So yeah, look, but I can't remember.
It was just chatter because I don't remember it being bad at all. Like, but you know how things look in print where it's laid out, and it was like minute this, like, and you're like, oh.
No, Gabriel was very good. Julian Timber was very good as well. Another one who's quite unsung. Julian Timber was very good. Gabriel scored and was good. Saliba was quite quiet, but didn't have too much to do. And I'd probably say maybe the trouble came from Calafiori's side.
Yeah, great.
A couple of times. But even then, I don't think Calafiori was bad. And he's got a groin injury, which is, I think, which is why he hasn't been playing. He came in and he pulled up, and that's why he's off. So that's maybe it. But
I certainly don't think. I think you're definitely spot on. I didn't think. A lot of people calling Saliba a great guy. I did think he did have a good game.
No,
Thought he was one of his quieter games.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of times where I thought we got caught. On it, and I think West Ham looked dangerous, especially when they come down that side because Somerville, I think, is a really good player, and I think he caused us problems, and I think he's clever as well because. I noticed at the beginning because he was coming up against Timber and he wasn't getting the best of Timber. And then he started to sort of move along to Saliba a little bit, and then sort of playing sort of in front of him, and he got the better of him a couple of times. And so I like him. I like that Somerville. But I do agree that that probably, if anything, it was Calafiori's side. They come out, and I think they had about 12 shots in total. West Ham, so I can see where Garth's coming from a bit.
They had something.
But although they had 12 shots, apart from the Ings one and the one that was offside, which was offside.
Yeah, it was offside. It was offside, yeah.
I can't really remember other than that.
Yeah, I can't remember doing too much.
It didn't feel it's just I saw it like a cut. I just wonder if sometimes a narrative spun and loads of people run with it. Like I saw it on Twitter. Like even if you read the BBC report of it,
I'm gonna laugh at you. I just mate.
I mean, I watched the game, and even I had to because when I see the stats, I don't know. I wasn't looking for the stats, but when I see the stats, and that West Ham had 12, 13 shots, I was like trying to remember. And I could see why other people would go, well, you had 12, 13 shots, but when you look at it. The when game as a whole, you can't really remember much.
Yeah.
Gabriel, is he injured? Come off half time, didn't he? Yeah, he come off half time, didn't he? Am I misremembering this game?
Yeah. He came off. No, he should be all right. I've not heard anything from Arteta to say that he's injured.
They said it at the end of the game that he was injured. He took a knock.
Garth's having to go at our defence, saying I mean
for the next game.
He's telling us the defender's going to be out. What's he doing to us on a Monday night?
Here we go.
Miguel's fighting nails now.
That's what I'm saying. I've not heard anything to say that he's not going to be playing against Man United.
No, I haven't heard anything like that. But that's what I'm asking. Is he injured? That's what I like. He was definitely took a knock.
He come off with a knock. So
but it's a precaution, I'm guessing. Because
he didn't he have a knock against Sporting as well? Or was he playing on an injury against Sporting? Even though
He
he
had a
smashed them
knock
up?
against Sporting. He had a knock against Sporting.
Precautionary. It's precautionary. You're 4-4. Well, you're 5-2 at half time. Yeah, get
I
him
thought
off.
I thought you was telling me no news, Garth.
No. I was asking you.
Sweating. I'm sweating, mate.
It was a question, bro. It was the guy I didn't know. You know what I mean? That's what I was asking. Said that he can't
I think he got taken off because of the whack he got from Fabianski, and he was a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised it was because of that.
Oh, yes. When he got up, he was rocked.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
He was rocked when he got up.
Yeah, no, I well remember that. I thought he was going to be out. I was hoping. Even though Kewell was not a bad player. So
I started laughing because he stood up and he was like Olivier Bernard.
Yeah, I think Partey's back as well. I think Partey was only precautionary.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So I think
you're going to have your strongest team pretty much. So no excuses when you get slept 4-0. Right,
you got a new manager. You got a new manager bout. So no excuses when you get actually slept 4-0.
No, there is because it's still the same team. We can't work miracles with that. New
manager bouts, mate. New manager bouts.
You've always got to worry. They've got pace in the side. You know, they've got pace, Man United, down them flanks. So you're going to have to, that's always a worry for any defender.
So have you, and we've got slow defenders, mate. Which is what I think Luke Shaw apparently is going to be playing. I'll worry for that cruciate ligament because Saka's about to break it.
You can't play Shaw. You can't play Shaw. There's no way Shaw's playing. Not against with Odegaard and Saka on that side.
You just don't know. He's played him in all. Is it all 3 games he's brought him on? Because he played Malacia, didn't he, in Europe?
Yeah.
Messi hadn't played. They played like 221 matches in 17 months, and he put him in for the first half. So yeah, you never know. But yeah, he's going to get broken. Right.
It is time for some transfer news before we leave. Paris Saint-Germain are in talks with Egyptian striker, or the representative in talks with Egyptian striker Mohamed Salah ahead of his contract expiring at the end of the season. Steve, is this something that Liverpool should start to worry about now that it's coming up to January, 6 months left, he can start to talk to other teams freely? They're going to hear a lot more of this. But is this also the agent putting the pressure on Liverpool?
Yeah, I think it's more that. I wouldn't be surprised if this is something the agents put out there. I mean, from people I've been speaking to, there's not really anybody you would say that's, of note that you would really want to listen to who are saying that it's anything to worry about for Liverpool fans. I think you're going to hear this. I'm pretty sure you'll hear in the next couple of weeks, that Saudi have all of a sudden looking to make a bid for him and all sorts. And look, we're forgetting who Mo Salah's agent is. I mean, he's the worst type of geezer for doing things like this, isn't he? He's always saying something or putting something out in the press or. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't surprise me. But I'm trying to think PSG who they've got. They've got Bradley Bacola, haven't they, on one side?
They're not.
It's Dembele, is it? It's Dembele on the other side.
They lost Mbappe. They lost Messi. There's room for improvement.
Big signing. When I saw that this morning, Steve, I was like, do you know what? I can see that. I can see it because you'll get the Saudi money pretty much. And he still gets to play Champions League. He gets to play in Europe. Like I said, I've got a feeling that he wants to go Saudi, Muslim country. I can 100% understand it. Everything's catered to, and apparently he's a very pious and very devout, catered towards you and the way you live. So I can see that.
He'd be a king over there.
100%. But the only thing I was going to say is obviously France at the moment, they're proper anti-Muslim out there, ain't they? So that may turn. That's the only thing. But I can see it working. Otherwise, I really can.
I can. Yeah. I agree. If at the same time, if you're the agent and you're going to pick a club to sort of put out there to say he's interested in him, he's the one you're going to.
It's a good shout. Yeah.
PSG is the perfect club, like Garth said, because you can see him. You can see him fitting because they're not skint. They can certainly pay him the money. Whatever he wants, give him the contract, whatever he wants. They're probably the only club. In Europe that can do it, other than a Saudi club who ideally gives Salah what he wants. Liverpool, financially, for the foreseeable, can't afford to give Salah what he wants. whether they will end up, taking that risk and doing so, which we all sort of think that they should, remains to be seen. But Salah on one wing, Bopper on the other. That's some. And who they got? Colomooney, is it? Colomooney down the middle.
Dembele, and they've got the Desire Doué as well. But I'm just looking at their squad. That Paris Saint-Germain squad is not like that's not the Paris Saint-Germain of the last 15
No.
years.
Is it Colomooney play up front for him?
Yeah, Colomooney, yeah. Their biggest star is probably Donnarumma in that
Which
team.
is crazy.
The big. When you think
I'll
about
I'll tell you what, though. That Bradley Bacola's some player.
Yeah, he is, but they have names as well, don't they? They have names. That's what they have. They have to draw. Right now,
that's what I mean. Like, so the Salah would very much work into their business, the way they run the club. But I agree with you, Steve. I was clearly, he's clearly an agent. Like, get your checkbook open, mate, because otherwise we will go elsewhere. We're not just going to wait around for you.
And it's also important the clubs that are also being touted to snap him up as well. Paris Saint-Germain club are going to fall. Next up, you'll probably be seeing a Man City that are interested in a Mo Salah. Because it's another club that has that money that will be able to pay it. So it makes it more feels like it's more.
If he did that, if he left Liverpool and went,
would you love it though? I'd love that.
I both of them, but I'd love it. I'd be crying with laughter. Kevin King, I love it.
Oh mate, I don't think
would that be worse than Sol Campbell
signing a player?
Yeah, that's worse than Sol Campbell.
Figo to Barcelona. Figo to Barcelona.
No, that's the worst. The Figo one is the worst one ever. It comes close to that.
They won't be beaten.
No one's getting a pig's head thrown at them on the pitch. No one is getting a pig's head thrown at them on the pitch for moving clubs, mate.
Yeah, it's rough. It was rough. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham are monitoring Borussia Dortmund's 20-year-old England under-21 forward Jamie Gittins. Have you seen much of him for Dortmund?
I've only heard little bits about him, to be fair. Steve, you got anything?
No. I mean, I don't know too much about the player. I know he's a decent player. I know a lot of clubs are looking at him. But again, I don't see he's someone that Arsenal particularly looking for. Mostly a lot of good players at Borussia Dortmund, they tend to move on. So we wouldn't be surprised if I don't think he's going anywhere in January because
at the end of the season. Yeah.
The sporting director at the name's gone for a minute. It will come to me, but he never lets people go in January ever. So as soon as I see that, I went, nah, you got, he's not going nowhere.
The price won't be small either. I wouldn't have fault for him, because he'd be a good backup for Saka. He'd be a good backup again from the little I know about him. 20 years old, winger, a good player. It all said to be told English as well, which is always a bonus when you're playing in the Premier League now because you've got to get that quota up. But
I mean, Arsenal are still looking. Arsenal are looking for it's amazing, really, isn't it? I mean, how long now have Arsenal been looking for a left winger? To come in. We, all last January and then in the summer. And
no, he's left footed. He's a winger. Front three.
You can't see Sterling really hanging around on his current form. Do you know what I mean? You can't see Arsenal buying him. You would think they're more likely to put their money towards someone else. And
you'll be helping out Man City as well because they've got a lovely sell-on fee included in whatever they sold him to Dortmund for. So.
It's crazy. Another player that would have come through the Man City ranks.
Although I think he is one of them. If you look him up, I think he did.
Reading.
There you go. Chelsea. That's the other one. I knew there's another big team that he did as well.
They've let some youngsters go.
You can go and play for different. You can play for different teams.
I'd like to see a list of players that we've spoken about at the beginning of the show on Man City's current plight and their situation, and they've let a hell of a lot of good players go from their youngsters. And at the time, we was all like, "Yeah, it's the thing to do. They're never going to get a game," and blah blah blah. But now you're starting to see these names sort of at top clubs, really performing, and you're starting to
maybe that's a question we ask for next week. I'll gather up the information because there are quite a few now. When you look at it, like Lavia, who's coming through at Chelsea and doing well and playing first team week in week out now, and you're seeing all these other players that are coming through, like Cole Palmer's at Chelsea. They're not small clubs. They're not small clubs.
I mean,
you say a Man City.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, as I say, it's worth getting them all together. I can't really name off the top of the head. I'd probably just 2 or 3. But even if did Lap, was he at Man City? Was he
Yeah.
at Man
Yeah,
City?
yeah, it was.
I mean,
It was.
even if you had Delap sitting on the bench now, and to come on and give Ireland the rest of 15 minutes, you don't even know, he might be able to sneak in a couple of goals. You don't know how many goals he could score. You don't know how he would develop a better club. And we've already spoke about Gittins. We already know Palmer, and I know that ain't the end of it.
No, it's not. There's a lot.
Oh, there's loads. There's no Sancho.
Yeah. There's
There's loads, mate. The only thing I'd say, clearly they had to balance the books a little bit. I'm guessing, get rid of, and would these players be the players they are now if they were stuck at Man City not playing? You know what I mean? But we'll get into it properly next week when we see.
But they made 4. But again, on the flip side, in a good, they've made 400 million plus off these players.
Another one I've just thought of is Jeremiah Frimpong.
Yeah. Again, but he had to have 2 seasons at Celtic, so like what Garth is saying, they progress the same way? So we'll get onto that next week. Manchester United, Barcelona, Tottenham, and Paris Saint-Germain sent scouts to watch 25-year-old Egypt striker Omar Mouche play for Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League on Thursday. Garth, your reaction says is a player that you're not too keen on. What's your thoughts on this one?
Listen, he ain't my cup of tea, Marmouche. He's 26 now. He's not a young lad or anything. He's had this season. He's doing well right now. This is so reactionary. If you look through the rest of his career, he has never done anything. And the price, Steve, you know better than me on this, the price that they're talking about for him, absolutely not. Yeah, I just don't know. Just don't need it. Liverpool are talking about replacing Salah with him, and you're like, is this because he's Egyptian? Like, do you think
that's easy? Didn't even try.
Maybe I haven't seen it, but I've watched him a few times. Because when I did the U10 Archery a couple of years ago, he was one of the names that I was looking because I'd heard of him, and he's done nothing. He did nothing at Wolfsburg. He did nothing wherever else was before that. He's always been high. And what is it at Frankfurt now? Isn't he? And he's finally scoring a few goals. But no, I don't need another player that's doing well in Germany coming to Man United and just being absolute tosh. So I need to see him do it. I need to see him do it for 2 or 3 more years before I start saying he's any good.
Yeah. I think Garth sort of analysed that perfectly. I mean, what I would have just said exactly what he did. I mean, as I say, one season he's been okay, fair enough. He's been fantastic for one season, but as you said, his age, where's he been, and now it just seems like for me it's an easy article to write. It's easy for something to be put out there. Because he's the flavour of the month at the moment, and for anybody who's looking for someone in that position, it gets people excited. But when you look into the like Garth's done, you look into the depthly, he's not someone you're going to whack out 50, 60, 70 million for. You're just not.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Mawani that we were talking about, Kyle Mawani, a couple of years ago when everyone needed his position and everyone was talking about him. And he's a good player. But like the prices they were talking about, I'm not a fan. And it's the same. This is it Omar? Yeah, he's Omar. Omar Mamouche. That's exactly how I feel as well. He might turn out to be a great player. I'm not a fan of him at all.
It was the same with that guy. I mean, I'm he might be out there smashing it in a minute, but Garth, he was someone you liked again. But I haven't heard a lot about him recently. And is it Ramos?
He's a PSG, Goncalo Ramos. Yeah, he done all right in the Euros, didn't he? But he's not. He's gone quiet. But he's gone quiet. My point is, he's gone quiet. 100%. He ain't done well. I honestly believe the moment you go to Paris Saint-Germain as a 23, 24-year-old, you're asking for your career to stagnate because you get no competition there, man. There's a different discussion, but they're
good up to a certain age to develop players, but once they get to a certain level, we said it before. The reason why Paris Saint-Germain don't do well in the Europa in the Champions League is because when they get to the latter stages, they've not had that level of competition that they're going to be facing in the latter stages of the Champions League. So they're always going to come unstuck. Arsenal advanced talk with Real Sociedad over Roberto Olive to succeed Edu Gaspar as Gunner's sporting director. Steve, do you know much about this one?
Yeah, they've spoken to him. But that's as much as I do know. I thought, you know, when I see the picture, I thought they was in advanced talks with Jimmy Hill. But because obviously it just looks like an absolute ringer for me. You put a little beard on him and some glasses. I guarantee you, he looks exactly like Jimmy Hill.
He'll be able to run the picture ref, mate. You know, the classics. If you're old enough, we weren't old enough to remember it, but we've seen it. It was on BBC Match of the Day. Time. Jimmy Hill running out of the stands.
But anyway, he looks absolutely nothing like Jimmy Hill in that picture. But I can assure you in the picture I see him, he's a ringer.
Anything like Jimmy Hill.
But yeah, he don't look. But you know, again, it's just talks. It's just talks. So it's one to keep an eye on. Arsenal fans getting excited because he was the guy that signed Alexander Isak to Sociedad. So you know, you can imagine Arsenal fans doing what Arsenal fans do, putting two together, get him, then go and get Isak, bring him to the club. No, that's not going to happen.
What's that?
Do you know what I mean? 500,000 likes for some big Arsenal account. Cologne signed Isak. Isak to Arsenal.
Experts on sporting directors out of nowhere. I still the show up there. I mean, to be fair, he signed these 4 players from a small club, Siena, and like, what are we talking about? It's all matters. Like he's got the network. He knows people. You know. Listen, he's got all 10 digits in 10 pies, mate.
Once he gets out his black book, it's curtains.
He's everywhere, mate. He's everywhere. Like
one thing I've got one for Garfield though. This is an interesting one. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be doing this one in a week, but Garfield know that Ruben Amorim was a former Benfica player.
Yeah.
And he actually retired at Benfica. He's about 39, but while he was there, he had, because of his age, he did other jobs for Benfica. One of them was to sort of scout players and all that. One of the players they scouting was Grimaldo Leverkusen, and there's been a little few rumblings in the transfer world that because he's a wing back, and
left
he plays
wing back,
he's left wing back, that you know he likes him a lot. So that made my ears pricked up because I basically loved that story. Do you know what I mean? The fact that he was there, the same. Grimaldi was 19 at the time. He's 29 now. But the story's fantastic, isn't it? You know what I mean?
If you get a couple of years out of him, 2-3 years, shoring up that left back, like pun intended, because Shaw's always injured. So like let Shaw go, Malassi out. I don't know if he's ever going to recover. We need a left wing back. So yeah, I can see it. And I can't imagine it'd be a ridiculous price. You know what I mean?
No.
30.
And Bayer Leverkusen have sort of had their year, haven't they?
Yeah, they definitely have. Like, that success has ruined them almost. They've not been playing well from what I've heard.
But I loved the story when it was told to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fact that he actually signed Grimaldi when he was 19 for Benfica, and now he's like Grimaldi's gone on to be this really one of the top wing backs in European football. And the system for Man United. So yeah,
apart from the age at 29, a little, but like for the Amorim system, perfect. Yeah, I can't say perfect player.
Yeah, he never gets injured. He's like one of these players who just never gets injured.
Yeah, he comes to Man United yet, Steve. We'll see if he never gets injured. He's played 4 games for Man United. Cruciate ligament, year and a half.
Mate, we're just as bad. Like Mourinho never got injured in his life. He comes to Arsenal, goes training, and Gabriel drops him on his backside and breaks his shoulder.
Yeah.
Gabriel was it? Gabriel going hard in training. I like that. I like those stories. Like, I love it. Stan apparently used to go like knee high on challenge.
In training sessions, you watch the training sessions before the game. Gabriel's there slapping people around the head, wrapping them up, throwing them about. It's like Yaya Toure. It is. It's like I love him.
Proper centre back. Yeah.
Liverpool, Man United. Liverpool hope to beat Man United January transfer signing for Hungary fullback Milios Kerkez.
Oh, no, that's one I want. That's what I said for a couple of years, isn't it?
It's valued at around 40 million.
20.
And also Liverpool are being rumoured or linked with Bournemouth winger Antoine Semedo, the 24-year-old forward is among one of many players that Liverpool are looking at to succeed in.
But both very good players.
Do you think? I don't like Semedo. I'm not a big fan of Semedo. Like,
I didn't know. I didn't know he's English. which threw me. I think he's a good player, but he's nowhere near the level of what.
If we're talking about levels for Manchester United and that
Coming out
he's
for,
level, he's good. He's good for Bournemouth. I think he's
Salah.
like when you watch him play, he's their danger man, isn't he?
He is. But I like the look of Clivert as well. I like the look of Clivert.
Yeah, he's not better than his dad though.
I think no.
It'd be very hard to be. It'd be very hard.
No, put that one in there. Not better than his dad.
Not better than his dad. Not better than his dad. On that note,
you done me. You done me on that one. Kurzic, just Kurzic quickly. Yeah, he's definitely leaving in the summer, and Man United like him a lot.
Yeah, I like him a lot. You know what I told you boys about Timber? He ain't the same player. But if you remember, when I did that kid, Kirkis was one of the ones I had on that as well. We should have signed. And I said then, this kid could be something special. But is he a wing back? That's the only thing I say. Like, does he how good is he as the wing back? Balls don't play wing backs, do they? Like, he's a full back. He's definitely a left back. But the way I've seen him is as a left back. You know, I mean, listen, he can work it there. But I'd love to have Kirkis in my team. Yeah, 100%. I think he's a great player.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of I thought it was like a bit of a fullback.
I think
that's why he's like a fullback. Like he's a fullback, you know what I mean? Not a wing back. So
I think Frimpong would be perfect for United. I think that'll be a scary signing.
That's the right side, isn't it?
Yeah, the only thing is he's so attacking. He's so attacking.
If we're playing this formation,
but that's
I'm all right with
mate, I think.
Yeah. I never wanted him. If we put four at the back, I'm sorry. There's a reason he's still at Leverkusen, even they're a good team. But because everyone looks at him, I presume, and they're like, 60 mil, and he can't defend. You know, we were saying about Trent can't defend. Like, he can't defend. Like, he can't. Like, he's good enough because he's got that speed. But he's a winger who plays wing back. You know what I mean?
It'd be good in that system. I mean, who's playing right? But then again, that sort of what happens to Diallo then?
Yeah.
But Amarin's got to be ruthless, and he's
well,
got to do
looks of things, he usually plays one wing on one side, don't he? And then a more defensive player on the other is what I'm realising off these 3 games. So, like in that, Frimpong can be the attacking. Like he's bought as a winger almost, and good. But
I think. Sorry, mate.
It's the price, man. It's the price for me when it comes to Frimpong. Like, because you just know it ain't going to be cheap. He's young.
It's not going to be cheap.
He's got talent.
He's got good record behind him. Yes.
I think a lot of the top sides. I think the young managers now they play that way. They have one defensive side and one side where they attack. I mean, I'm just using Arsenal.
Arsenal, and you have centre backs playing. You know what I mean?
That's where you can just shift it. You have centre back. You have a right back who can play centre back. You have a left back who's a full back.
You've got Arsenal, you've got Odegaard who plays next to Saka, really. You haven't really got anybody over that other side who plays with either Trossard or Martinelli, have you? You normally get what you normally get is the left wing back or the left bloke who inverts into the midfield, that job as for that Arsenal's left hand side, and then on the right hand side it's more attacking. So I don't know. Seems to be a thing they do these days.
Right, that is all we have time for. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. If you are new to the show, if you are a regular, press that like button, press that share button. We appreciate. If you're around tomorrow, Arsenal fans, or just want to watch anything about Arsenal, I'm sure you do. I'm sure there's many of you out there. Make sure you join us for the Arsenal shows. We will be talking about Arsenal.
We will be talking nastily about Manchester United. We've been too nice on this show tonight, but tomorrow's when we get.
That's when we get into about Man United.
Just get to the slides. They're the biggest cheats I've ever seen. They're the biggest cheats.
We will see. But yes, make sure you join us tomorrow for the Arsenal show, and make sure you join us every Monday for the Super 6 podcast. You've got the name on the Transfer Exchange show. It's been a long day.
He hasn't eaten, ladies and gentlemen. He hasn't eaten. He's got right in. He needs to get some fuel in him.
I am. I'm not eating. You can tell.
The Super 6 where we try and avoid, even though it's called the Super 6, we try and avoid Tottenham and Chelsea as much as humanly possible.
Oh yeah. I was going to. To be fair, I was going to talk about Chelsea tonight, but the Man City topic and Liverpool topic lasted 40 minutes.
You
So.
say that every week at the end of the show. What's going on?
I'm running out of time.
I told my missus to be a quick one. It's like, it's just a couple of results to talk about, some transfer news. Hour and 40 later, I might be sleeping on the couch.
My missus says the same. I said, what are we watching tonight? What are we putting on? She said, well, what do you mean? You'll be back, you'll be here in an hour and 40 minutes. I said, no, I won't. I'll be here in 10 minutes. She went, no, you won't.
Yeah. Give us 40 minutes this week. Right,
I'll go in there now, get the eyes.
Very quickly. Peace out, people. Stay safe. There we go. And wash your hands.
No, you got me. Come on, kid. You got me.